If you want to practice all of the new PTE questions using artificial intelligence on an online portal that has a similar marking to your real PTE exam, head over to masterpte.com.au to create a free account. Here, you can practice all 4 sections separately and receive instant feedback for all of your speaking, writing, reading, and listening. You can also view and compare your answers with others who have already succeeded in achieving a high score. Download 9090 Band's template for speaking, writing, and listening. Take mock test, receive instant result, overall feedback, and in-depth analysis which helps you pinpoint exactly where you lose points. masterpte.com.au, the best PTE practice software in the world.
Today's lecture is about a loggerhead turtle, one of the largest turtles in the world, and almost extinct in the USA. They have big heads and short necks. In September 1986, scientists put a tracker on a turtle's shell, and used satellites to track and locate the migration route of the turtle. They reached different localities in different time. The migration takes 3 months, from the South Florida to the north.
Today we will discuss the relationship between the fault lines in the Earth's crust and an earthquake. This dislocation of the rock occurs from the Earth's surface 7 kilometers to several hundred kilometers vertically down to the crust. The earthquake's focus is called the epicenter, which is vertically beneath the interior of the Earth's crust, and the energy releases and transfers through epicenter. The faults are the fracture on the Earth's crust. The position of the epicenters can be identified by the faults map, looking down from the center of the Earth. It will result in seismic wave, which is decreased as it moved away from the epicenter.
"10 years ago, before the use of iPhone or iPad, people's attention interval is about 25 minutes. This number is good. However, nowadays the attention interval has dropped from 25 minutes to only 8 seconds, which means our memories are shorter than that of a goldfish.
The Silk Road is not like what we thought it would be. People traveled in groups to other countries through the Silk Road, exchanged things, and then came back. There were also some side groups who went to other countries such as India, which was called the Amber Route. At that time, there was also gift changing happened on the Silk Road.
The difference between science and scientist is mentioned. The interviewee's inclination towards scientists is also mentioned. A man interviewed says that he does not like science very much, and science is like furniture. Scientists can tell the story and do research about happy family. Scientists can propose questions to find what is true. This lecture compares the conditions on the Earth and Mars, as well as the habitability of Mars. There are some similarities such as polar caps, atmospheres and water climate. But Mars and the Earth also have lots of difference. Even the most inhabitable areas on the Earth are way different from those on Mars. The lecture also describes different forms of water hydrology on the surface and underground of the Earth and Mars.
During this time, my goals are going to be to talk about the phenomenon that we may share in part with other animals and our language, and that is emotion. And also talk about some new technology, brain imaging, functional magnetic imaging, and we try to answer some very old questions about how does motivation and emotion work. I'm going to put you with the scenario first, and some of you may be familiar with it. This was developed by Pavlov over a century ago. And in this scenario, the dog presented with the sound. The dog waits and then feeds food powder, and this happened repeatedly. Things starts to happen in the middle of the experiment there. Interesting things start to happen here. Pavlov's study was on the salivation of the dog. The salivation increases more time to paralyzes. But other things happen here too. You have a dog move around here more. All kinds of things are going on here. What we are trying to capture was the experiment going on to describe today what is going on in the brain to generate that state, which is called competitive state. But you can also think about state in terms of how the dog's feeling layer, how you are feeling about eating lunch today.
The Western countries' women, especially those under 30 years old, are becoming more and more reluctant to give birth to babies. However, the male status in society remains strong in recent years. The birth rates increased during the 20th century, but it remains to decrease in the last 2 decades, reaching its historical low. In the year 2000, the birth rate remained at around 1%. There are even some negative birth rates in other countries. The birth rate dropped to its lowest point that has never been seen in history. It also has an impact on the male in society, especially the young man, and it might have some connection with the unemployment rate as well. Many parents communicate and educate their children in two languages, probably because they both know more than one language, or they come from different countries. Most of these parents think this can benefit their children's language learning. But actually, kids will get confused when their parents use different languages from each other to describe the same object. If one parent sticks to one language, and the other one sticks to another language, their children will not be confused anymore. In our survey, over 100 CEOs who had recently been through an acquisition or merger were asked which areas of their activities needed the most effort. As you can see, the most frequent response to this question was that information technology requires the most integration effort. According to 58% of those we surveyed, IT was the most time-consuming and needed the most work. This is understandable as many of the IT issues are extremely complex and the consequences of any change in IT can have a significant impact. The key is how quickly and effectively IT integration can be achieved, and there has to be a clear understanding of the consequences there may be of not getting it right. The two other areas requiring significant attention, sales, marketing, and business development on the one hand and financial management on the other, both were selected by 49% of the respondents.
If you want to practice all of the new PTE questions using artificial intelligence on an online portal that has a similar marking to your real PTE exam, head over to masterpte.com.au to create a free account. Here, you can practice all 4 sections separately and receive instant feedback for all of your speaking, writing, reading, and listening. You can also view and compare your answers with others who have already succeeded in achieving a high score. Download 9090 Band's template for speaking, writing, and listening. Take mock test, receive instant result, overall feedback, and in-depth analysis which helps you pinpoint exactly where you lose points. Masterpte.com.au, the best PTE practice software in the world.